Hey guys, Christina Ricci. If you want more pars, but you really struggle with your transition, then I'm going to walk you through tips that are going to help you smooth out your transition. A fast transition is really going to get you out of sequence fast. So if you're a player that struggles from slices and pulls, this tip's for you. You ready? Let's get to it. All right, so the transition is as you change directions. All right, so I'm going to give you a bunch of tips to help you transition better. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the lower body. All right, so the lower body has got to move. All right, so as we get to the top, we have to get it moving before the hands reach the top. All right, that sets the swing in motion, and that blends the backswing and the downswing. It's a blending of the two. It's not you get to the top and stop, and then you go. All right, that's where players go off. They don't blend it. So it's a smooth transition where before your hands get to the top, you're gone with this. I already have pressure on my lead side, and I'm focusing on the butt. I'm not focusing on spinning the hips. I'm focusing on engaging these. All right, and my apologies for facing behind you, but this is really important. All right, so where players go off is they get to the top and they try to go together. All right, there's no engagement here. Now look at the difference. As I get to the top, my butt's going deep, and then this butt's going deep. All right, I didn't do anything with the transition. That did that all from this. So I get to the top, I'm super deep, and then super deep. So before I even get to the top, I'm gone. All right, so that's what players are missing with the transition. All right, and that's why typically players are over the top, because they're not engaging the butt. If you do it right, if you're a player that doesn't do it and you start to do it, you are going to be sore here. All right, because you are now loading up the posterior chain, your hamstrings and your glutes. That's where the power is in the golf swing. Players don't do it. All right, they just kind of spin their hips, but they're never engaging the butt. All right, butt is king. Actually, the club face is king, and then comes the butt. All right, so when you engage, when players do this for the first time, when they engage the butt, boom, boom, they rush the strike, all right, because the whole swing is quicker, all right, because there's a lot more pop. We've got the rubber band effect, all right, so when you actually load it up, you're going to feel like everything is quicker, but I don't want you to rush this, all right, so delay the strike. So before your hands get to the top, you're gone, but delay the strike. All right, delay it. Because if you do your hips and then you try to swing hard, fast, you're going to chunk it and the ball's going to slice, pull, nothing good. So the second tip after you engage the lower body is you got to delay the strike. All right, don't rush the hands. Let the club lag behind. Let it be back here. Don't rush it. All right, that's a really, really important point when you start to engage the lower body. Another reason why players rush the transition is they got too many things bouncing in their head. It's like a mean game of pinball, right? You have too many swing thoughts. So I always like to tell my campers, focus on one thing.
Do you know what the secret of life is?
No, what?
This.
Your finger?
One thing. Just one thing.
That's great, but what's the one thing?
That's what you gotta figure out.
One thing, and that one thing is going to be different for everyone. I ask my campers, how many swing thoughts do you have? Many of them are like one or two, but a bunch are like too many, 6, 10. You can't swing with that many swing thoughts. So I like my campers to have one swing thought. And it's not a thought, it's a feel, it's an image. What do you want to do in your swing? What are you working on now? What's the big bang for you? And it's one thing, and it's different for everyone. Everyone has their own feels and cues. Hopefully you're working with a golf professional so you can identify what you really need to be focused on. Most players misdiagnose why they're mishitting their shots all the time. So it's really important that you get help to find out exactly what's going on with your swing so you can have that one strong feel when you get up to hit your tee shot or fairway shot. All right, another reason why your transition might not be optimal is that your bowing sucks.
It's the one thing that makes me humble.
Prissy. My leader keeps saying my intonation is prissy.
Precision. Precision is not prissy. You have the most beautiful callus. This hand, this is your failure. Your bowing sucks.
All right, you're not twisting the club. All right, this is flexing. This is what we call bowing on the downswing. So that closes the face. All right, it squares the face, and then you continue on, and then you close it. All right, players may have a cupped lead wrist at the top, and the club face is wide open. And then when they transition hard, all right, that club face is wide open. All right, so you're trying to square the face, and that's why you're rushing your transition. All right, so players typically that have a super cupped wrist come over the top to try to square it up fast because their face is wide open. All right, so they're not able to square it up in time, so they rush the transition. So it's really important to make sure that your grip is awesome, that your takeaway is awesome, so the top of your backswing is fantastic, and then you got to add a ton of bow on the downswing to square it up. Now, depending what kind of grip you have, you might not have to bow as much, and depending what kind of body pivot you have too. So make sure you watch that video because you do have to match up your wrist conditions with your release pattern with your body pivot. All those work as pals, all right? I don't want to go into that with this one, but club face, an open club face will rush your transition. So make sure it's square and not open. All right, another reason why it could be rushing your transition is that your backswing is crazy fast. All right, I do see this a ton, where the backswing is so fast that the whole swing becomes fast. All right, you're just trying to kill it. All right, I see this more with guys than gals. Gals, I tend to see really slow backswings. All right, so there's a fine line. So the tempo with the long game is 3-to-1. So we got a 3-to-1 ratio here toward tempo. Diane definitely needs it because she's hitting it way better. All right, so I highly recommend that you get toward tempo. That's going to help you get toward tempo, which is 3-to-1. So your backswing is 3 times as long as the forward swing. It's not 5. And it's certainly not 1-to-1. All right, so if you're trying to kill it, then that might be the culprit. So work on your tempo, specifically the ratio from backswing and then from backswing to impact. All right, another reason why you might be rushing the transition is that you're anxious. All right, an anxious mind, for whatever reason, is going to quicken your transition, so you really got to quiet the mind. And that's where I circle back to focusing on your one thing. Make sure you have a really good routine so you can stay focused. All right, stay focused on your process. Avoid noise. All right, too many players focus on what's happening with their pals yapping, their pals looking at them, all this stuff. Instead, you got to focus on target, your one strong feel, and staying in the process. You got to stay in the process of the shot. Don't worry about the outcome. If you stay in the process, focus on your strong feel, the results will happen. And your transition will be smooth. All right, I'm gonna give you a couple cues to help you do all that. All right, so my suggestion, if you're super crazy fast with your transition, what you're gonna do is you're gonna add a little pause at the top. All right, so just a little pause before you go. All right, so the pause is you're gonna pause and then you're gonna go with your lower body. I don't want you to pause and then go with everything. All right, so you're going to go to the top, add a little beat to give your lower body a little head start. All right, players that are super fast, they can't get this moving fast enough. All right, so if you give yourself a little pause at the top with the arms and the hands, that gives your lower body a chance to start the downswing. And that'll help you stay in sequence and have that awesome lag, all right, versus throwing it and having a rushy transition. If you're super fast in your backswing, all right, definitely do tour tempo, but when you're out on the course, which is another reason why I like tour tempo, is that you can have that beat in your head. So that helps you stay on the right side of your brain, and that helps you with tempo out on the course. But if you don't want to get the tour tempo, it's not for everybody. You can focus on, if you're super fast, say you're like a 1-to-1, you're just going to go slower. All right, so just go slower. Your backswing's probably going to feel slow motion. Matter of fact, I want you to do it slow motion so you can feel the contrast. So just do a bunch of swings at the range where you're going crazy slow. All right, and you're going to find out how fast you were. And then if you're a player that's super crazy slow, all right, that's just too darn slow, you're going to speed it up. All right, the players that I had, my campers, I put them on tour tempo, and one gal was over the top. And then I put her on tour tempo and she was on plane. She's like, oh my gosh, I love this. There's no time for me to think. You took 2 beats out of my swing. I love it. She was all over it. All right, so just changing the tempo got her on plane and got her away from over the top in a fast transition. So another way you can smooth out your transition is to visualize a gradual increase of speed. All right, so you want all the speed after the ball. So you can flip the club upside down, turn into your backswing, and I want to hear the swish out in front. All right, out in front. Not here. Feel the difference? Listen to the sound here. What if you can hear that? Wow, I cannot go fast. Now I'm going to go this way. I'm going to do my start with my lower body, make a good turn. Hear the difference? It's a lot swishier. All right, so just turning the club upside down, you can hear the speed. So if you're looking for more club head speed, bang, that's it. And in the meantime, you're smoothing out your transition. So you want to visualize all the speed after the ball, not up here. No speed, crazy speed. Another great way you can smooth out your transition is to head to the link below in the description and get the lag shot. All right, these are awesome clubs to help you with lag, forward shaft lean, and to smooth out your transition. This is the heavier version with a bigger grip, and this is the lighter version with a smaller grip. Great for females, great for guys. All right, I really like these training aids. Now when you use it for the first time, players oftentimes, because they struggle with an open club face, the ball shoots out to the right. When you start to add lag with this, right, you got to make sure that club face is square. Because if you start to add lag with this, and your ball marker's facing the sky and this face is wide open, the ball's going to shoot out to the right. You might even hosel rock it. And that's why this is such a great training aid, because it gives you that feedback. And I highly recommend that you have a camera so you can really see the lag. It's impressive. So it really helps you to feel the weight of the club head so you can transition smoother. All right, so it's a great training aid. Give that a shot to help.